Hey everyone, my name is Casper, and in this video, a quick astrology on Donald Trump, because I think a lot is going to happen to him in the next month or two. What's really interesting about Trump is that he has his ascendant at 29 degrees of Leo. It's conjunct Regulus. His Mars is at 26 degrees of Leo. JD Vance also has his ascendant conjunct Regulus at 27 degrees. I mean, if you think about the fixed star Regulus and the fact that these placements are in Magha Nakshatra is a nakshatra in Vedic astrology that has very much to do with ancestors, to do with power, um, and it's about using that power responsibly and not getting lost in ego, not getting lost in trying to prove your ego and your worth. It's about carrying the power that your ancestors gave to you. I think this explains why Donald Trump became the president of the United States, and his life purpose is to use this power responsibly. But again, we can definitely see how he's not really living up to that. You know, he's totally gotten lost in his ego. When Trump first got elected back in 2016, Rahu, or the North Node, was in Magha and making a conjunction with his ascendant. And he was sworn in as the president of the United States in January, and that's when Rahu was basically conjunct his ascendant. And Rahu is about increase. Rahu is about increasing your value and your worth, and there's something very fated about it. There's something very fated about Rahu conjuncting placements. And it's really interesting too, because I remember in 2017 when Trump actually saw the eclipse, because Rahu and Ketu, right? Ketu is always opposite Rahu. It always has something to do with the eclipse. And so there was an eclipse in August, and Donald Trump actually watched it because the eclipse took place in the United States. So what's interesting is that Trump became president during this eclipse, right? He rose to power. What's really interesting now is that Rahu and Ketu have reversed. Today is July 15th. Look, Rahu is exactly opposite where it was. So if Donald Trump rose to power when Rahu was making a conjunction with his ascendant, what do you think is going to happen now when Rahu makes a conjunction with his descendant in Aquarius? He's kind of starting a conflict or a war in Iran. Apparently, Iran wants him dead. What I think is going to happen, I think he's going to fall from power. And I actually made this prediction last summer. I said this. So in this video where I talk about Gavin Newsom, I talked about Trump's decline and Magha Nakshatra. You can go and watch the video, but I basically said I think something's going to happen with Trump. I think in the summer he's going to lose his power in some way. Now, at the time, I thought it would have something to do with Trump's health. And that could happen. Trump might have a stroke. He might get assassinated. He might get seriously injured or hurt. Or he might just fall from power. He might lose the presidency, especially because JD Vance also has his ascendant conjunct Regulus, and Rahu is going to be, or Ketu is going to be going over this placement right here. So this isn't just, it's probably going to involve JD Vance too in some way, because their charts are so similar as far as their houses and ascendant goes. This summer, there's going to be an eclipse. Rahu is going to move into Aquarius July 27th. So we might see something shocking, something might happening. We might, right there you will notice a shift in energy, but I think we'll really see something happen to Trump the beginning of the eclipse happens, because it happens August 12th. And it could happen a few days beforehand. I think eclipses are like the worst thing in astrology. They are the most dangerous. I mean, it's pretty crazy. When we look at the death of the Iranian leader, he died in February 28th. That was around an eclipse. If we look at the death of Charlie Kirk, September 10th, 2025, that was around an eclipse. So you see a pattern here. You see what's going to happen. A lot of people are thinking about Trump's death. A lot of people are wondering, how is he still president? Well, I think this is the moment where Trump is next on the list. The eclipse takes place August 12th. So something will happen to him around that time, a few days before, a few days after. I've noticed that the assassinations don't happen always during the eclipse. Sometimes they happen a few days before or a few days later. It will complete its energy August 27th. And that's really interesting because Uranus will be in Gemini, Mars will be in Cancer. Let's see, Donald Trump has a lot of Cancer placements. Mars will be conjunct his Mercury during this period because Mercury rules writing and communication, also your rational mind. It'll be at 8 degrees. Over this period, Mars will be on his Mercury, so he might have a stroke. He might lose his ability to communicate, to travel. He might become like disabled in some way. He also has Saturn and Venus at 25 degrees of Cancer, and so that Mars will make a conjunction with that Saturn and Venus right there as well. And also Cancer is his 12th house. The 12th house is hospitals. So when you have Mars in the 12th house, you could end up in a hospital. You could end up isolated. Sometimes it more psychologically, it means to do with like burying your emotions or your feelings, because 12th house is the unconscious and hidden things, so your anger becomes hidden. But it could mean something like ending up in a hospital. I think it will be really interesting to see what happens. What's also interesting moving forward, Jupiter is going to be making a conjunction with his Mars and his ascendant, which is actually really positive, and it's kind of funny. Because whatever happens, if Trump really does fall from power, if Trump really is killed in some way, he might end up becoming very spiritual and very wise. He might wise up because Jupiter is the planet of wisdom. It is the guru. It is the planet of opportunity, but spiritual opportunity, expanding your horizons. So Trump might end up starting his own religion. He might start his own church. There might be a huge memorial for him because in 2027, we see like Jupiter stops. It stops right on 27 degrees of Leo, along with making a conjunction with Mars. And then it goes backwards in the zodiac. And so does Mars and Jupiter. So, I mean, we could end up getting into a war with Iran, maybe. I'm not really sure. But especially with those planets right there, I mean, it could mean getting into a war or getting really violent in some way. I'm not as sure about that prediction as something happening to Trump in August. But in 2027, I mean, that's pretty crazy to have Jupiter and Mars right there in Magha Nakshatra. The moon is at 27 degrees of Aquarius in America's chart. Rahu will be conjunct this. It'll be exactly opposite the ascendants of Trump and J.D. Vance. And ketu will be here. So, I don't know. I think America in August will experience crazy emotional turmoil, lots of like sudden emotional outbreak. And Mars will also be going over all of these Cancer placements at that time. So America could go into a war of some kind. Something could definitely happen to Trump. I mean, I already said that, but like, I'm just saying the chart seems to reinforce this. Mars will be on the sun. The sun is the leader of the country, or that's what it represents. It really does feel like Trump might have to step down, and then J.D. Vance is going to step up and put in a lot of power in his new position. But who knows? Maybe that doesn't happen. But that's what I'm watching out for. And the other thing that's really interesting too is that the last time Rahu moved into Aquarius, that was during the 2008 financial crisis, and it happened exactly on the dot. Officially started in December 2007, and it ended in June. It ended in June 2009. It began December 2007. Right in December, like right on, as AI Google said, in December, that's when the financial crisis happened, and Rahu was right about to enter Aquarius. And then to 2009 in June, that's basically when Rahu was about to enter Capricorn. So for as long as Rahu was in Aquarius, that's when we had the financial crisis of 2008. And we're about to start our next cycle of Rahu and Aquarius, you know, especially with inflation and everything happening right now. I mean, this is like, I don't know, like this looks like a disaster. To have placements in Regulus and Magha is already really good, but you know, if you have Ketu there, Ketu sucks all the energy away. So it can affect your health, it can affect your position, your power, especially if you have Regulus there, because Regulus is about power. So I don't know. I just don't think it's good for him at all. And then you see K2. K2 is gonna go. It's gonna go into Cancer. I mean, K2 is gonna go over all of these planets that Trump has. Um, and Jupiter already kind of gave him most of the luck. And then even when Jupiter makes a conjunction with his ascendant in 2027, Mars is gonna be there that whole time. I guess so. I just want to end with saying we're gonna see Trump's downfall. If he is going to have a downfall if before his term ends, this is the moment.